Hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront updates and some Star Wars Battlefront 2 news. We've got some news about a patch coming out next week, some discussions from Dennis regarding a potential new hero selection system, as well as the voice actor of Padme from the Clone Wars series talking about Battlefront 2 out on Twitter. So let's dive straight into it. First of all, with the patch news, there was supposed to be a patch coming out today with various hero fixes and other fixes to the game, but unfortunately it was delayed until next week due to a critical error that they found in the testing, but they did give us the full patch notes, so I'm going to go through some of those right now. Starting off with co-op, they have made various balancing changes on some of the co-op maps, including tweaking AI in human player spawn points, changing the spawn rate of enemy hero AI, scoring event for completing a phase, as well as some various fixes to the mode overall. As for the AI, they've now fixed the issue where not all hero AI would spawn in some games of instant action due to that bug where the AI basically thought it didn't have enough credits for the players, as well as some other hero AI improvements, and they've also set up different default appearances for the AI on co-op and instant action, so basically depending on which planet you're playing on, the AI will look different. So 212th for Geonosis, 104th for Camino, 327th for Felucia, and so on. As for Capital Supremacy, they've added a panel as the destruction objective on the reactor cores on the Republic attack cruiser. This is to direct where the players can shoot at and where defenders have to keep their attention. Players are now required to shoot at a panel on the reactor core to reduce its health. This will hopefully make it a little bit easier to shoot that reactor core, as it was currently quite tricky to reach that one, and right now Capital Supremacy was kind of one-sided when it came to the capital ship phase, so I think this was a pretty good addition. As for heroes versus villains, dodging will no longer cancel grenade throwing for Leia or Lando. They fixed an issue where the blaster carrying heroes would run at the same speed as regular troopers, and they've also tweaked Chewbacca's furious bowcaster animation by speeding up the actual animation. Finn's undercover team will now grant speed correctly to troopers around them, and Kylo Ren has had his damage decreased on the Power of Darkness star card to 14, 11, 8, and 5. Vader has had a quite significant nerf by removing the damage reduction during the Force Choke ability. A little bit strange since they recently added that, but maybe they thought he was too tanky. I'm not sure if they would have needed to remove that altogether. They could have just reduced it so it wasn't 90%, but I don't know, a bit of a strange choice there in my opinion. And they've changed the description of one of his star cards. As for Boba Fett, they have changed the anti-hero rockets and intense barrage star cards, so the anti-hero rockets now do increased damage within a 1 meter radius, and intense barrage you need to deal more than 500 damage to enemies for one activation if you want the cooldown to be reduced for the next usage. So a bit of a nerf there to Boba Fett that Guillaume also explained a little bit more about on Twitter. So if you want some more explanation on his decision making, you can go to Guillaume's Twitter. I will link that in the description below. But they've buffed his concussion rocket by removing its active time from 1 to 0, meaning that you can act a lot faster after the rocket is fired. Lastly, they fixed an issue where the damage reduction for the Clone Commando's battle focus was way too high. It's now set to 25% as it's supposed to, and they've improved the aiming when playing on a speeder. I'm very excited to try that out, as hopefully it will be a lot better than the current not very good aiming. Moving on, the voice actor for Padme in the Clone Wars series, Catherine Tabor, tweeted about wanting to see Padme in the game and how she was just waiting for the holo call from EA Star Wars, saying think of the weapons, think of the vehicles, and yes, think of the wardrobe. And this is also something that Dennis later retweeted. So I don't think it's a hint towards the fact that they're working on Padme or something like that, just that, well, she's up for it, and hopefully that will motivate them to eventually add Padme. Although I would rather have like Ahsoka and Ventress before Padme, if I'm gonna be completely honest. Also, back quickly to the heroes, Guillaume did also say that they've been hard at work on big fixes and quality of life. I hope it starts to show. End of October release will also have big changes that will hopefully improve the way heroes play. So that's not for the patch next week, but for the full patch at the end of the month. So I'm hoping it's going to be significant, because there has obviously been some issues with the heroes back and forth. So hopefully it's something we can actually feel at the end of the month. And lastly, Dennis has been out on Twitter discussing various stuff, and the most important one that he focused a lot on is the whole max number in play issue, where well, people are sitting in the menu trying to get a hero, and the only way you can do that if the hero is taken is basically by sitting there and spam clicking on them and hoping that they will become available. He brought up a couple of suggestions, and then people had to give feedback on them. For instance, one of them, which I don't really agree with, is that after like 2 minutes of the game, they assign the first 3 heroes on each side, and the top 3 players players will become the heroes, and then after 2 minutes they get despawned, and the next 3 players on the list gets to play the hero. So the upside is that a lot more people get to play the hero. The downside is obviously that you become limited, so you can only play for 2 minutes no matter how good you're playing. But I also have another variation that I'm more for, where at the beginning of the game you can pick a hero or villain you want to queue for, and the first one to get enough battle points, so let's say 4,000, and there is a hero slot available, will get to respawn as a hero. And once you die, the next person who has enough battle points and has chosen that hero will get a pop-up saying that they can play the hero. So I much prefer this system, as it means you can play as long as you want and you don't have to stay in the menu. So I don't see any downside with this system compared to the current system. It means no more camping in the menu to get the hero you want. But I'm not a fan of limiting the time you can play a hero. Well, I think a lot of people disagree on that, simply put, and that's also what I got from the response on Reddit to that suggestion. But yeah, that's really all the news I've got for you today. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.